All right. So hi everyone. Today we have Dora from Hungary, though she's currently based in Denmark. She sent an application to the project that was very unique. She has a very special story. After we talked, we thought it would be good to have an interview where she can share her story. And then we will be organizing a Q&A type workshop a few days after this, where if you're interested to learn more or even share your story, if you have similar experiences, you will be welcome. But the intention is to just not spread the story, but just to tell the story that is the first time being told publicly. Because Dora so far has only shared the story with close friends, and to give this idea of a different approach, maybe if I want to call it, to shadow work, a very unique one. So Dora, why don't we start with just you sharing some things about yourself before we dive into the story?
Hi everyone. I'm happy being here in this virtual room, telling my story. So yeah, I'm from Hungary. I was born in Szeged, and I spent my childhood there, and I spent my childhood learning intensively very different kinds of arts. So painting, dancing, and music, basically. And then I moved to Germany to study music there, early music. And yeah, later I moved back to Hungary and was playing and teaching. And then I decided again to move away from Hungary. So now I'm in Copenhagen, just finishing my studies, and yeah, I'm planning to stay here. So I'm in the last years, besides like doing different sort of art, I was very much into body-mind techniques and different also meditation techniques and spiritual things. And yeah, my art has also this kind of approach to somehow embrace all this work that is happening right now, like I think all over the world. Yeah, I think that's briefly about me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now let's dive into the story that you shared with me. That when I first read, I was like, "Wow, this is such a unique story. Like I've never heard anyone else having this kind of experience." So maybe we can start from the beginning. You said this happened something like 10 years ago, or
yeah, exactly. Like 11, 10, like I can't say exactly. Like when I moved to Germany, I was like 19, turning 20. I started to see pictures full of blood, like very aggressive pictures. And in the same time, I felt like guiltiness, but a big amount of guiltiness. So I basically felt that I killed a lot of people, and it was very intense and very new, because it had nothing to do with my reality. Like I didn't experience war, nor my parents did it, so it was also not like a transgenerational thing popping up in my mind. but still it felt that it was me who did all these things, like that it was basically me who killed a lot of people. It feels difficult to say it because now I'm here in 2020 and I haven't killed anybody in this life. So yeah, this was the starting point of the whole thing.
Did you have these images in while you're awake, or is it in a dream, or how do they come to you?
I had them in the day, but it was not a hallucination, so it didn't mix up with my normal perception. But it was like when I closed my eyes, sometimes they came, or listened to music. It was actually not so specific when they would pop up. Yeah, but it was in the daytime. Yeah.
Okay, so it just comes at you randomly in a way.
Yeah, and like I also couldn't say how exactly it started. Like I can say that it started after I moved, because of course it was a big change. But more precisely than then, I can't say it.
Did it start out a bit more like fuzzy and then became more clear, or did it was it even clear from the start and remained that way for a while?
I think it started like little by little, but to be honest, I don't remember exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Because,
and yeah.
Also, I mean, these images, I couldn't remember them afterwards. Like I couldn't remember them exactly, like visually. It was more like the feeling that kept on, being inside me and taking quite a lot of attention from me.
And were the impressions mostly just visual, or did you also feel kind of like other senses, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it was mostly visual, but sometimes I had this feeling of like being afraid from myself, or like what would I do if I lose control of myself, things like this. So that was a bit physical, but yeah, not more than that.
Okay. Yeah. And you don't have these visuals now anymore?
No, actually, I mean, it's quite far back in the past, so they kept, I don't know how long it took, like maybe all in all 1 year, or like with the whole process afterwards, like 2 years. But like to see the pictures, I think it took not even 1 year, like a few months. But you like you couldn't you shouldn't imagine it like they were there all the time. Like they didn't even come every day, like maybe twice in a week, or like maybe even more rarely. So yeah, and then just to continue it, so it was really like hard to have my attention, for example, on my studies, because I mean it was really such a different world from this one I was experiencing. So because I have painted also before this started, I decided to paint, and yeah, I can't say differently than to paint out the blood, or like I would say like this in Hungarian. So I started to paint, not for like painting good pictures, but you know, like when you just use the painting or drawing as an expression, as a self-expression, where it comes out of you, so you can actually have a look at it. And at the beginning, it was really not easy, because while painting, I had this energy of killing, and that's not easy to experience when you actually can't see yourself, or you don't want to, but yeah, it was there, so I did it. And I didn't know where it would go, because because I mean, also I was like 20 years old, so I was not so experienced in these kind of things. So I painted and painted and painted, and and little by little it started to lose this this killing character. So it started to transform, I mean, the red color, to something neutral, because I mean, red, or like painting red, can be many different things. It doesn't have to be blood, or it doesn't have to be blood that is like outside of the person, means the person has an injury at least. So, and then while it became neutral, I also started to experience my own creativity in a way that I didn't know before, like in a quite deep way, and where I could really feel that that doing something in this world, like just living, or I mean, painting is for me like just a symbol for living, and it can go both directions. Like I can be destructive when I act destructive, and I can also be destructive when I paint, when I have a kind of like when I have such an intention, or just unconsciously, or but then if I know this, and maybe experienced it in another life, or whatever we want to call this, then I can decide not to do it, but to do something else, like to create something that I really want to create. So it turned out to this kind of like feeling of like deep feeling of responsibility for your creation.
Yeah. So in a way, that painting has become a very healing process for you. Would you describe it as healing? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. But just in a way that it was a self-expression that I could use alone. So it was a process that I did alone, like So of course there are other possibilities for self-expression when you can also talk about things, but then you need someone. But with painting, you can like draw or paint and then just look at it. So yeah, you externalize it, or I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, you express it.
Yeah. And then just the fact that it's already outside of you can help to go a step forward or like move on somehow.
Were you able to share this with anyone when it was still happening?
Yes, with some close friends. So I was in this sense not completely alone, but they couldn't really help me in the way, like no one of them experienced something like this, so they couldn't help me like this, but they could help me like with listening to me and and saying to me that I'm not crazy, because sometimes during this process I was asking myself if I was crazy, and I was not, like I was conscious about, okay, this is now, and this is something else that is happening inside me, and I have to take care about of it. But so it was scary in this way.
I think one of the biggest I don't know if I want to call it missions, but one of the things that I have always strongly believed in is this notion that we have to learn better how to not invalidate other people's realities just because it's different from ours. This whole attitude that if somebody says something that you don't understand how to experience and you call them crazy, I think this is very it's very counterproductive and disconnective and alienating in a way. Like, some people have experiences that are, that you can't explain, that you can't empathize with because you don't have the same experience. Like, I know people who get flashes of the future, flashes of visions of something that's going to happen in 5 minutes or a year or something, and it just comes to them, and there are so many people that are convinced that all people who have these skills, they are just doing like code reading, they are just doing psychological manipulation, it's not real, and things like that. And to that, I always feel like, why do we have to deny that these things happen, that these things can happen to some people, even if it doesn't happen to you, So I think that we have a lot to learn as a species, as a community, to be much more welcoming to divergent realities, like something that you experience, that I think is for many people it's very difficult to comprehend, because it's quite far outside of the normal experience. If I would even use the word normal, I don't really like that word, but and it's easy to dismiss, and it's unfortunate that it's the way that it is, because I think that we can learn a lot if we can accept the reality of, like, for example, your story, even if I don't have the same experience, to just at least have you feel accepted and understood, even if even if the other person doesn't have the same experience. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I understand you.
Yeah. So so right now you feel like it's kind of like in the past, and that's why you're more comfortable talking about it. So it doesn't come back anymore. Like it's totally like
No.
it was just in that part of your life and you've processed it and now you're okay.
Yeah, I mean, this question of being responsible for something, also for other people or for a project, it's still like a big thing of me for me, where I don't know, it can be a bit more difficult, because I feel like that it could go also in a very wrong direction. But that's the only thing, like it's not anymore related to this to these pictures. So
Yeah.
that's already back in the past. And yeah, when I read Embracing the Shadow, and like the title and the whole idea, that was the first thing that came, and I was myself quite surprised, because I never had the idea of talking about this, but somehow now it feels the right thing to do.
Yeah, when it's time, it's time. You just know it, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like when the fruit is ripe on the tree and it's ready to be eaten, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do feel like there are probably many people out there who have like really unusual experiences that they don't feel safe to share because they think people will think they are crazy, maybe in a similar way like you used to feel about yourself. And I think that there is so much value in providing a space where these kinds of stories can be told without judgment and with acceptance. And I think, yeah, the telling itself is a healing thing. I know for myself, sometimes when I have things that I can't express and I finally express them, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, like the weight is lifted. So, yeah, you were saying that you wanted to share some images, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Would you like to share them now?
Yeah, I think it's good point. Can you see it? Yeah.
It looks like a bird.
Yeah, I
with
chose
claws.
this. I chose this picture because, I mean, it's not. I don't show any pictures from the beginning of this process because it's like too private. But this one is a kind of a resume of the whole thing, where I don't know if for me it's like both part, like the conscious part or the healing part is there, and this feeling of destruction or killing is there as well. So it's like, yeah, that's why I wanted to show this. And yeah, it's a sort of a bird, but not just bird. I don't know. When I painted at that time, often some kind of birds came. So you will see some more.
What do you mean some birds came? You mean like literal birds came
No,
by when you were painting?
No, sorry. So it was when I painted quite intuitively, and often the form of bird, some kind of bird came.
Okay.
But they also appeared in my dreams, so it was yeah, somehow they had an important part in this story. But
yeah.
I can't really tell what do they mean.
What bird is or what it means.
Yeah. So
yeah. So did you? I'm guessing that the use of bluish colors is represents sort of the healing aspect that you were talking about, or?
Yeah, this blue and yellow, like there are those pictures, like it's actually now that I'm missing the word. So there are little pictures in the middle. And then
Collage?
it's yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I missed this word. and then I painted on it, so that's how it works.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this was made like in the later part of your process? Is that what you meant?
Well, not in the very beginning, yeah, but but it's possible that I made this red thing like in the background, that it was a picture that I just took and like worked more on it, like to yeah, because I wanted to work with this this paper, just red color. So but I can't really remember. Yeah, but I go forward. Yeah, here now that is a bit of another perspective of the whole story, because actually also my tinnitus started at that time, like quite at the same time when I started to see those pictures a bit later. So yeah, this picture also has to do with the tinnitus.
So when you said these pictures, you're talking about the impressions that came to you, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
And so this is a sort of an attempt at visualizing what you saw? Or am I understanding it correctly?
No, it's like, it's kind of a self-portrait, but then it has this double face, which again I can't really explain why. I mean, now just trying to explain it, it could be like a picture for this parallel thing I saw, but now I'm really just trying to explain in my own picture that I made intuitively. So yeah,
this one has a very tribal feeling to me.
Yeah, actually quite a lot of them have this tribal feeling, like maybe not the very first ones, but then when it got a bit more like integrated, this blood, then I started to paint this.
Yeah, it feels like something I can see in like an old cave, like a cave drawing or something like that.
Yeah,
those cave paintings.
Yeah, like where the lines actually are, I don't know how to say it, like it's not like a 3D, or it's not trying to be very realistic, but it's like this very, very stylistic in a way.
Yeah.
Stylistic way of painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite from the beginning, but it's already somehow more positive. Like, it was interesting because when I started, to do the to paint, then I just used red and black, like only these colors, and then little by little other colors would came, and yeah, the first one was yellow. So this is for me, it's like this very heavy feeling is still there, but I don't know, for me it's like a light, like a person made of light. Like this feeling of I don't know, looking on it, or like having this reflection or integrative moment about the whole thing that happened at some point. Yeah, and here there are some more birds. But I also have them like this. Yeah. This is also like already later. Like here, this red is not anymore this, like it's not anymore so so much coming from the movement like this, when you just pour out some liquid. It's quite organized.
Yeah.
In a way, but yeah, but still not really positive. Yeah, and I mean, these ones are really this dark side and bright side. Thematic.
Yeah. Duality.
Yeah. Yeah, some more birds.
It's somehow making me think of, I was watching a bunch of videos on extraterrestrials and real life accounts of people who have come sort of face to face with them, supposedly. And they did describe like bird-shaped extraterrestrials or bird-like aliens, in the same way that there are dolphin-like aliens and shark-like aliens and a bunch of forms, in a way that the animals we see on Earth, they kind of have like a higher intelligent version of them somewhere, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So for some reason that kept coming into my mind as you were talking about the birds. I don't know if it has any connection, but it was popping into my mind somehow.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here there are some.
That's cool.
That's like a black paper, and then I used something like I was scratching.
Yeah.
Like
it looked like a broken glass.
I took them because they are also if you scratch on the paper, like you actually physically make a wound. So it really has this character. Yeah, and this one even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This looks like a hand and a cactus at the same time. Oh wow, this is cool.
Yeah, here there is a like it's a sort of a series, like a lot of similar pictures.
So this is just black ink on white paper?
Yeah. And I just took a few of them, like they're like, I don't know, 20 maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, seeing these pictures, it was like, you know, something that you can't really stop. So
yeah.
when you have this first picture, that is like a head, yeah, it's just somehow coming out of your head, like it's in your head, but then if you start painting it, then it's coming out. So, but
like a flood.
yeah, or like a source, but then it's like yeah, scary, and you don't know what to do with it, but then you get to know to it, and then it actually just feels like a source, kind of. So that's the meaning, I think.
Yeah.
What do we have more?
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, I think I sent just this part of it.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's quite a big picture, like 2 meter long, something like this, and
it's a bird.
Yeah, there's at the top it's like sun and bird at the same time. And I did it like, I didn't use a brush, I used my hands, so it was also again very, very physical.
Yeah.
Doing it, and I also used quite a lot of color. Here you have the belly. So yeah, this one is also quite from the beginning, or like middle. I mean, I already used blue, so that was the fourth color that came into the game. But
color.
Yeah. Yeah, it has this very physical thing, because I made it with the hand. So
it's really, I love the texture. I think it makes it very rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you said you had these visuals that came to you, did you see like kind of vividly, like you killed people, or you just saw blood? Like, would you say that you were able to see faces, or identifying things, or it was just more like the strongest feeling is the sense of killing?
Sometimes I could see forms, like faces, or like body parts, something like this, but I couldn't really recognize it. I could recognize that it's if it happened, then it was like some 100 years ago, like it was not so modern word.
Okay.
But yeah, the most important thing was this the feeling of killing, the feeling of guiltiness. And yeah, that was, I think the worst was that it was not just the feeling of killing, but that I enjoyed it. Like, I could remember this feeling. That is really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like, yeah.
Have you okay, so yeah. So this image, like, we can go back to that later, but right now we have these images in front. It looks almost like fabric, the one on top.
Fabric?
Yeah, like cloth
What?
instead of paper. You know, like fabric for clothes. It looks like it was painted on fabric.
No, it's actually paper, but I don't know why it's a very very
flexible.
It's a very simple paper, so it's not something special, actually. Yeah. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is also kind of tribal, but in another way, so.
Yeah. I really like that red and yellow one.
The big one or
the bottom, bottom left, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but here, like with the big one, for example, I mean, here there is not anymore this blood character, for example. So here is just red. It's an intensive red, but yeah. Here is already not harmful anymore. So
yeah,
I would just come to the last one. It's also similar, but with blue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because you use very primary colors, it lends to the tribal feeling, you know, like the cave painting feeling.
Yeah, exactly. That's
because
that also makes it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely I can see the progression in a way.
Yeah, it was not just like not really chronological, but kind of chronological. So stop sharing. Yeah.
So since you said that if these flashes came from somewhere, it must be from some time in a different time period. Have you ever considered, for example, hypnotherapy to look into it, or did that have so far not crossed your mind?
No. I mean, no, because I sort of closed it up down. So I didn't have this wish to look in it more precisely. Like my explanation for myself was that it comes from another life or lives. Like I don't think it's just one of me. Like actually at that point I started to believe in reincarnation. Like it was never far away from my thinking, like not even as a child, although I come from a Catholic family. But yeah, so I found this explanation and I'm fine with it. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that it is really tricky. Like the whole issue of morality, I think is something that we have culturally across different time periods and across different places. The values of morality has been kind of constantly shifting and changing. You know, what's acceptable in this time and what's acceptable 100 years later can often be very different. Not just about like killing or something, but about everything else, you know, like when you look back at ancient Mayan practices, like they basically did human sacrifices, right? This was to them the norm, but today this is like, you know, you don't even want to think about it. So so there is this whole I don't know, what, like what is good and what is bad, you know? Like, we like to attach these kinds of value judgments on things, but ultimately all of these characters that we think of as heroes and villains and terrible people and amazing people, if we go with the understanding that these are all part of the same energy that we are also a part of, then they're all us, you know? So in a way, what you experienced might also just be from this bank of experiences that all of us can access, and they're not necessarily you. It's just that somehow you accessed a portion of that consciousness for some reason. And it could have been me, it could have been anybody else, because we're all part of the same fabric of network of memories, that that encompass all the bad and the good that we like to call it bad and good, you know. So and they do need to be addressed and healed, you know, because what often happens when we just like, oh, this is bad, and then we suppress it, we don't want to look at it, and then it becomes a bigger problem later on. So yeah, is there anything else you would like to add with regards to your story that you feel you haven't mentioned, that hasn't been addressed, that I didn't ask any questions about?
I think I told all the important things. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your story and for for coming forward with it, and sort of, I'm hoping that it will empower some people to also come forth with their stories if they have been struggling with something. And let me just take a look at the exact date and time of when you are doing this Q&A, because it's in this document somewhere. I believe it's on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's at 8 o'clock in my time zone.
Okay, so that means it's 6 p.m. UK. Oh, no, 7 p.m. UK. Yeah, so we will be releasing the information for that soon, when we get the materials of the visual setup. It's almost done. And so Friday, 2nd of October, 7 p.m. UK time, which is 8 p.m. Central European time, Dora will be holding a Q&A session, a sharing session as well. And this interview is meant to be an introduction to that. So if you're watching this and you feel like you want to ask something, or you have a similar experience that you want to share, do come and check it out. And yeah, I don't know if I missed out anything. Yeah, and we wanted to do this live stream, but it didn't work. I think I didn't mention that at the beginning. So unfortunately, we had to record this and upload it later on. But I'll make sure to do that as soon as possible. Yeah, I think there's nothing else from my end. I think probably there will be more questions maybe on Friday about parallel lives and multidimensional living and things like this. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you a lot for this opportunity, and everybody who listened to it. So thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so if that's all, let's call it a day. I think it's still daytime for you.
Yeah.
And see you again on Friday.
Yeah, see you.
And hope to see you all on Friday too. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.